I was sickened. I was sickened by the standing ovation. I felt like Hollywood is just spineless.
Last night, the internet wasn't talking about an award, it was asking a far stranger question. When Jim Carrey appeared in France, something about the moment felt different. And after Katt Williams revived old warnings about Hollywood, the conversation shifted from rumor to something much darker. What if the story behind the spotlight isn't the one we've been told?
I know so many things I shouldn't know, and they all know. They canceled me for these things because why would you talk about another black dude? Race is not where the line is drawn. It's God's side and the other side. And we don't care nothing about the other side. All lies will be exposed. All of these deviants is all catching in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is. If you and a man was in a corner doing something you wasn't supposed to be doing,
you will tell it.
This is why when I walk in a room, heads go down.
In an industry where silence often functions as currency, the most disruptive voice sometimes arrives from an unexpected place, a comedian. For years, Katt Williams built a reputation for volatile performances and provocative commentary, frequently dismissed as exaggeration or spectacle. Yet history has a complicated relationship with figures who speak from the margins. When allegations surrounding Sean Diddy Combs later entered formal investigations, some observers began re-examining the warnings that once sounded like jokes. That re-evaluation has shifted attention toward another claim circulating through online discourse, that something unusual surrounds the public reappearance of Jim Carrey. The implication is not proof, nor even accusation, but a pattern of rumor traveling faster than official record. And when comedy begins to intersect with cultural suspicion, the question becomes unavoidable. Why do certain voices sound unbelievable until time forces a second hearing?
You watched it unfold, and then what happened after?
I was sickened. I was sickened by the standing ovation. I felt like Hollywood is just spineless, en masse. And it really felt like, oh, this is a really clear indication that we're not the cool club anymore.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Oh, man.
They asked Chris, do you want to file charges? And Chris apparently said no, he did not.
He doesn't want the hassle. I'd have announced this morning that I was suing Will for $200 million because that video is going to be there forever. It's going to be ubiquitous. You know, that insult is going to last a very long time. If you want to yell from the audience and disapprove or show a disapproval or say something on Twitter or whatever, you do not have the right to walk up on stage and smack somebody in the face because they said words. I wish him the best. I really do. I don't have anything against Will Smith. He's done great things. But that was not a good moment. It cast a pall over everybody's shining moment. It was just a selfish moment that cast a pall over the whole thing.
For decades, Jim Carrey represented a rare archetype in Hollywood, an actor whose comedic elasticity masked a deeper philosophical curiosity. From the existential satire of The Truman Show to increasingly reflective interviews later in his career, Carrey began reframing celebrity itself as performance. That shift became particularly visible following the controversy surrounding Will Smith at the 94th Academy Awards, when Carrey openly criticized what he described as Hollywood's instinct to protect its own image rather than confront uncomfortable behavior. Such comments did not sound like rebellion, they sounded like disillusionment. In a system sustained by celebration and ceremony, a prominent figure questioning the value of those rituals creates an awkward tension between authenticity and expectation. The deeper issue, then, is not whether Carrey was correct, but whether an industry built on admiration can comfortably accommodate someone who begins to question the meaning of applause itself.
Oh, it's a wonderful feeling. I really took on a pretty big challenge trying to do my speech in French. So, I wrote it and I researched it and I practiced it like crazy, but, it's Then I watched everybody like talking 1,000 miles an hour up there receiving their awards, and I was like, I'm dead. And I made mistakes, and I was like a novice, but I felt a lot of love, and I felt a lot of appreciation that I tried, and what I said was true, and I really wanted to recognize my family. I wanted to recognize my dad. I mean, my dad was the type of person that if you met him for 5 minutes, you felt like you knew him for 50 years, you know?
Public fascination intensified after Carrey appeared at the César Awards in Paris, receiving an honorary recognition for his contributions to film. On the surface, the moment followed a familiar script, a respected actor returning to international spotlight, delivering remarks to a standing ovation. Yet online discussion focused less on the speech and more on subtle differences in appearance, changes that observers attributed to aging, lighting, cosmetic procedures, or simply the passage of time. Digital culture, however, rarely settles for the simplest explanation. Within hours, comparisons circulated between earlier interviews and recent footage, transforming ordinary speculation into a narrative that suggested something more mysterious. Such reactions reveal less about Carrey himself than about a broader cultural tendency. When audiences grow suspicious of powerful systems, even routine events can become evidence in a story that was already forming.
These little heathens with no soul downstairs with horns on their head with a battering ram trying to like beat your walls in.
Yeah.
But it doesn't take very long before you realize, or before it gets to you. It's cascading on you all the time. You can't get away from certain attitudes, from certain modes of behavior that this town and the industry, and no matter how strong you are, when you come in off the farm with those convictions and a certain line of attack, no matter how strong you are going to be affected by this place.
No,
it's going to divert you from where you were going.
Sure.
You're going to be diverted. You'll eat yourself alive here. And I think it takes that kind of cockroach resilience to survive in this town. I mean, this is a bizarre place. The social contract. You can't get mad. You can't get mad. You can't let it get you. Because you have to make a deal with everyone else, and it's almost unspoken, that you are going to be fucked over at some point.
I mean, as a matter of interest, do you think it's easier because you're an outsider who came in?
I think so.
Yeah.
Because it was glaring to me.
Hollywood has long been described not merely as a workplace, but as a network of mutual obligations, an ecosystem where success is tied to reputation, alliances, and discretion. Hollywood actors from different eras, including figures such as Mel Gibson, have spoken publicly about what some call the social contract of the industry, the expectation that conflicts remain private and criticism rarely targets the structure itself. When performers challenge that understanding, whether through political commentary, spiritual reflection, or direct critique, the response can range from quiet distance to public controversy. None of this confirms the darker interpretations circulating online, but it does illuminate the context in which they grow. If fame depends on cooperation with powerful institutions, what happens when a participant begins openly questioning the system that elevated him?
Merci à ma merveilleuse famille. À ma fille Jane et à mon petit-fils Jackson. Je vous aime maintenant et pour toujours.
Jim Carrey, is that you? Because the internet's convinced it's a doppelganger or even a clone.
There's magic in the universe.
Yeah, fans questioning if Jim's newish look is some sort of magic trick after the 64-year-old debuted longer locks, seemingly lighter eyes, and a fuller face at the César Awards in Paris, where he was given a top honor.
Merci à ma sublime compagnie, Mina. Je t'aime, Mina.
That's Jim on stage thanking his daughter, grandson, and girlfriend, but internet sleuths just aren't having it. His updated appearance sparking a wild rumor that it was actually someone else who was there in Jim's place.
Let's do this.
Then Alexis Stone, a transformative makeup artist known for impersonating celebs in public, entered the chat, posting this likely AI image of a face mask and teeth, signaling to his 1.4 million Instagram followers it was him impersonating Jim. But not so fast.
Ooh, somebody stop me!
A rep for Jim confirms to ET it was indeed just Jim who attended the awards ceremony. And if you need more proof, a representative from the Caesar Awards tells us Jim was there with his loved ones, longtime publicists, and 12 close members of his inner circle, and calls all the fuss online a non-issue.
I have to pinch myself, honestly. I mean, I'm the proof that, manifestation, is real. There, I sat up on Mulholland Drive looking out at Lancashire Boulevard and dreaming up my life as it was going to be. And I was going to be one of the biggest actors in the world, and I was going to do movies that reintroduced themselves to several generations of people. The people that grew up at the game are 40 and 50, and they also grew up with me. And now they're bringing their kids to see me. And I got that goodwill for another 20 years now. And it's just like winning the lottery. It's wonderful.
Theories suggesting that Jim Carrey was somehow replaced exist firmly in the realm of speculation, unsupported by verified evidence yet amplified by the internet's appetite for mystery. Still, their persistence reveals something deeper than curiosity about one actor. They reflect a broader distrust of institutions, Hollywood, media, even celebrity itself. In that environment, the narrative becomes symbolic. Carrey represents the artist who publicly questioned fame, while Katt Williams embodies the outsider claiming the system hides more than it reveals. Between those two figures lies a cultural tension that cannot be dismissed simply as gossip, because if audiences increasingly believe that powerful industries can control perception, shape narratives, and silence dissent, the real story may not be whether Jim Carrey has changed, but why so many people feel compelled to ask the question in the first place.